All right, so let's get started building this little quiz application. Therefore, I'm going to create a new project with an empty activity here. I'm going to call this one My Quiz App, and everything else can stay the same. And the default settings are fine here. The first thing that you might recognize or realize is that we don't have an action bar here at the top, and I want to get rid of that straight from the start. Therefore, we can go to our manifest here, Android manifest XML file, and in this file you do the setup for the different activities that you have. You define which activity is going to be the starting activity. When you open up the app, which activity should be displayed. In our case, we only have one activity, but we're going to see how to have multiple activities. And then you can also define what style you want to have, for example. So you see here under application, there is a theme defined already, and it created a theme called My Quiz App. But I want to instead use material components.daynight.noActionBar. So what that will do is it will make sure that we don't have an action bar in our application. Let's try this out, because usually what you would see is a big action bar here at the top, and now we see we don't have an action bar. So if we were to go back in these settings here and run it again, you would see what this action bar actually looks like. So here, this My Quiz App, I want to get rid of that, which is why I have the material components day-night no action bar style from the themes. So this is the theme that I'm setting up, and it is inside of my themes folder here. And there is this XML and XML night, and there these styles are defined. So here, for example, this theme My Quiz App had something set up with dark action bar. So instead of setting it up directly here where I said no action bar, I could have left it with the theme that we had there. So the one that we had for our application name, and that was, I believe, My Quiz App. And I could have also just said that we want to have no action bar here. Okay, so these are the two ways, and this will probably be the better one, because now you can define all of your style settings inside of your style file, which means the theme file where you have this style setting. Okay, so let's run it again just to see if this actually worked. And we can see we have no action bar. So we looked at how we can change that directly in the manifest, but then we saw how we can do it in the styles file, which is better practice. Now, the next thing that I would like to set up is that my application cannot rotate. So the screen orientation should always stay in portrait mode. Therefore, under the activity settings, so these are my activity settings for the main activity, I will add a setting here called orientation. So screen orientation, you can just enter orient and you will find the screen orientation setting. And here you can select from different settings. You can see there are plenty, and the one that I want to use is going to be portrait, because I want to make sure that only portrait is going to be accepted as the screen orientation for my application. So now even if I rotate the phone, it will always have this portrait mode. Okay, so this was the first setup for this application. In the next video, we're going to set up the UI using Car2U, and we're going to see how we can disable the status bar at the top. So see you there.